Okay, let's go ahead and find the slope of this line. But more technically correct, we would call this a two-variable linear equation. Let me write that out. Linear equation. And I want to write this out for a specific reason. I'm going to show you here in a second. What is the root word of this word here? Well, if you look, we have the root word line. So really, this is a linear equation, but it's a line equation, i.e., this equation we can see graphically as a line on the xy plane. So when you have a line, you will have a slope, and the slope represents the angle. It's a number that tells us the steepness or angle of that particular line. Now, all lines have slopes with the exception of vertical lines. I'm not going to get into the slope and what it is. If you don't really understand the slope of a line, then I have additional videos on that. This is actually a pretty big topic in and of itself. I'm going to give you a lot of kind of suggestions about the slope and some other related concepts that you're going to need to know. But we're going to just keep our focus with finding the slope value of this linear equation. Okay, now if you think you can do this, go ahead and put your answer into the comment section. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you the answer here just 1 second, and then I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I think is the suggested way of doing this. There's actually a formula for this, but I'm going to show you a better way because most students forget that particular formula. But anyways, we're going to get to all that in just 1 second. But first, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John. I'm the founder of TC Math Academy. I'm also a middle and high school math teacher. I've been teaching math for decades, and I'm telling you right now, you can be successful in mathematics, but what you need is great math instruction, clear, understandable, and comprehensive. So if you're at the middle school, high school, or college level in terms of mathematics, check out my Math Help program. You can find a link to it in the description of this video. I promise it will help you out big time. Also, if you're taking any sort of test or preparing to take any sort of test with a dedicated math section, I'm talking about things like the SAT, ACT, ASVAB, teacher certification exam, college placement entrance exam, those type of things. A lot of you out there are going to be taking a test like this. I have a ton of test prep courses that can help you prepare and pass those exams. If you homeschool, check out my middle and high school math courses for homeschoolers. Won a lot of awards with this program. Very proud of that. If you need a pair of great math notes, well, hopefully you have your own awesome notes. If you do not, you need to improve on your note taking. But I'm going to leave links to my math notes in the description of this video as well. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the answer right now of the slope of this particular linear equation, two-variable linear equation. And here we go. So here's the problem. 4x plus 6y is equal to 8. The slope of this line, that I'm going to refer to this linear equation as a line, is negative 2/3. This is the correct answer. Okay, so how many of you got that right? Well, if you got that right, I must go ahead and give you a nice little happy face with an A++, and we'll make it 110% today, and I'll give you a few stars because that's pretty awesome that you were able to calculate the slope. Okay, now again, there's a couple different approaches you can take to solve this problem. And there's actually more than a couple, okay, but I'm going to show you what I think is the most effective way for all of you out there. But let's go ahead and get into it right now. Okay, so when we're talking about linear equations, there's two primary kind of forms that you see them in. So the first is something called the standard form of a linear equation. And then we have this other form right here. I'll give you an example just in 1 second, called the slope-intercept form. This right here is probably the most common way to see lines in algebra, linear equations in algebra. So for example, y equals 3x minus 1. Most of you would say, oh, this is some sort of line that I could graph on xy plane, and you would be correct. But this line, the way it's written, is in this form right here, slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b form. Now, the problem that we're dealing with is not in this form. So a line to be in this y equals mx plus b form, you literally have to have a y all by itself on the left-hand side, and then you have something, a number in front of x, just like this, and then sometimes you'll have a number. You don't have to have a number after this x portion. You may not have a y-intercept there. But anyways, what we want to do is to rewrite this line in standard form. And lines in standard form have an x and y. Then you have nice integer values right here for a, b, and c. Okay, but what we want to do is rewrite our line equation, our linear equation, and put it into this form, because once a line is in slope-intercept form, the number in front of the x, that coefficient, is the slope. So for example, y equals 3x minus 1. The slope here of this line is 3. Okay, so that's what we're going to do to solve this problem. We're going to rewrite or solve this equation for y, basically putting it into y equals mx plus b form, and then we'll be able to easily determine the slope of this line. So now that you know what to do, go ahead and see if you can actually solve this equation for y, because a lot of students will struggle with this. Okay, so if you want to pause the video and work on this, and then you'll be able to kind of see if you can get the right answer. I'm going to go ahead and show you the solution right now. Okay, so here we go. The objective is we want to write this equation such that it's y equal to all this other stuff on the other side. So the first thing I need to do is move this 4x on the other side of the equation. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides of the equation. And when I do that, I get, remember, you're going to add down in a column manner. So 4x minus 4x is 0. 6y plus 0 is 6y. Then I'm going to have 8 plus a negative 4x, or 8 minus 4x. Now, I don't want to leave my the results to the right-hand side this way. I'm going to shuffle these terms around, and I'm going to put this negative 4x first, and then we'll put a positive 8 there. So 8 minus 4x is the same thing as negative 4x plus 8, because remember, we're trying to get this into y equals mx plus b form. So I need my term with the x first. So that's why I'm doing that, okay? All right, so we have 6y is equal to negative 4x plus 8. So we're almost there. So to solve for y, I simply need to divide all the terms of the equation by 6. Okay, so this would be here, 6 there, and a 6 there. So when I divide everything by 6, I get y is equal to negative 4 over 6 plus 8 over 6. So let's go ahead and put that like this. So our slope is going to be this value in front of the x, okay? However, we can see we have a fraction that is not fully reduced, so I can simplify the fraction negative 4 over 6 as negative 2/3. So now I just rewrote my line as y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4/3. I just kind of simplified this 8 over 6 fraction. Remember, when you're dealing with fractions, always reduce all your fractions. So there you go. We have our line now in slope-intercept form, i.e. y equals mx plus b form. The m, this value in front of the x, is the slope. So the slope of this line here is m is equal to negative 2/3. But again, this line right here, this linear equation, okay, is equivalent to our problem. Okay, it's equivalent to this. The only difference is this problem, or this our linear equation here, is in standard form, and then our answer down here is in slope-intercept form. And of course, we like things in slope-intercept form because it's super easy to identify the slope. Okay, so as I was talking about in the beginning of this video, you really need to understand the slope. There's a lot of topics here that I'm not getting into. So I'm going to suggest a couple things here. One, depending on what level of algebra you're at. Now, I go into this heavily starting in my pre-algebra course. So if you're in pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, I cover slope and linear equations. Everything you need to know about them, how to find the equation of a line, graph. There's a lot. This is like 3 chapters worth of information. So any of those courses will help you out. And also I have a ton of additional YouTube videos on the slope and other topics related to linear equations. But if this particular video helped you out, don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.